Hi, how's it going? Welcome back to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and today we're going to talk about Amsterdam. It is a murder mystery directed by David O. Russell and was released in the USA on October 7th, 2022. It's set in the 1930s and follows Burt, Harold, and Valerie, who discover an elite scheme after being named the suspects to a murder they witnessed. Now, before I hop into my review, please take a second to like and subscribe, support the channel however you can. It is super duper duper appreciated. As a heads up, I will be spoiling a lot from this movie, so continue at your own risk. Lastly, if there's something that you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know by leaving a comment and I will get to it. Thank you. I'm hopping in 3, 2, 1. Burt Berenson and Harold Woodman are best friends that met during World War I. They were injured and Valerie Vandenberg nursed them back to health, and after the war, the three of them lived together in Amsterdam. I wonder where the movie got its name from. Harold and Valerie loved each other, but after Burt and Harold returned to New York City, they never heard from her again. Several years later, Burt is a doctor and Harold is a lawyer. Together, they investigate a crazy conspiracy around deceased Senator Bill Meekins at the request of his daughter, Elizabeth. After performing an autopsy, they discover he was poisoned, so they go to tell Elizabeth, but a hitman kills her and they are framed. Attempting to clear their names leads them to social elites, Tom Vose and his wife, Libby. Consequently, Valerie is Tom's sister. She is under constant supervision from them, but Tom suggests they meet with a famous and decorated general, Gil Dillenbeck. While they meet with the general, they notice the hitman from earlier and follow him to a forced sterilization clinic run by a Nazi-like organization called the Committee of the Five. They escape and meet with some American spies and devise a plan to stop the committee with help from the general. Things go according to plan, and the committee are revealed to be the social elite industry leaders, including Tom. They had intended on turning America into a fascist country like Benito Mussolini and Adolf Hitler. Unfortunately, their success is short-lived since the Five don't remain in prison long and they discredit the general. The film ends as Harold and Valerie leave the country and Burt continues his medical practice. So, this film is actually an adaptation of the business plot, aka the Wall Street Push. It was an alleged US political conspiracy in 1933 designed to overthrow President Franklin D. Roosevelt and install Marine Corps Major General Smedley Butler as a dictator. Historians question whether a coup was close to execution, but they do agree that the plan was contemplated. Given all that backstory, I think the movie does a great job staying true to its source material. Now, I like conspiracy theories and I think they're fun, but the problem with them is that they're not usually true. They only contain grains of truth. This kind of ties into how I feel about the movie. It's a fun movie, but not entirely sensical. Maybe a big part of that is the tone. Despite being interesting, I struggle to understand what the tone of this movie was. It felt like it wanted to be a serious and mysterious film set in the 1930s, but it often came off as cheesy and bizarre. The romance and artsy moments in the film didn't quite feel in place. It was certainly an odd blend of different genres. Adding to my confusion, let's talk about the acting and the characters. For starters, all of the actors did a wonderful job in their roles. Christian Bale as Burt, John David Washington as Harold, Margot Robbie as Valerie, Rami Malek as Vose, Anya Taylor-Joy as Libby, Robert De Niro as General Dillenbeck, and Taylor Swift as Elizabeth Meekins. Yeah, I said Taylor Swift and she killed it. Now, unfortunately, despite having a star-studded cast and great acting, the character writing and ambitions felt a bit strange. The characters all felt nonsensical and unserious. Unfortunately, Amsterdam serves as a wonderful example of how if you have great actors but bad writing, your movie will fail to impress. This kind of leads into the rest of my thoughts on the film. To kind of summarize my thoughts, the elements in this film were good, but not great, and there were a lot of missed opportunities. This includes the direction, the pace, the score, the soundtrack, the dialogue, the cinematography, and the production design. The film felt long, and I'm certain 20 to 25 minutes could have been cut out. In fact, the removal of some scenes would have likely helped the tone. Adding to the goodish moments in the film, there was a live band playing music, which was cool, but it didn't really impress me. Thankfully, the dialogue was a little bit better, especially with General Dillenbeck's final speech against the uprising fascism. Before I get too positive, the cinematography was good, but it also didn't impress me. I felt like the artistic shots were trying too hard, and they didn't really fit the tone of the film. I also thought the production design could have used some improvement. I know the movie took place in a 1930s version of New York City, but it didn't quite feel like the 30s. I obviously wasn't born then, and I can't vouch for its accuracy, but it just felt off. Overall, I found Amsterdam to be an enjoyable film, but there was a lot that could have been done to make this film better. I thought the business plot was interesting to see played out on screen, and I enjoyed the themes of conspiracy, but the tone felt jumbled. It felt serious and nonsensical. Despite amazing acting, the characters and their writing confounded my feelings that this movie wasn't serious. As I stated earlier, the other elements in this film can be summarized as good but not great. They got the job done. This includes the direction, the pace, the score, the soundtrack, the dialogue, cinematography, and the production design. I wasn't impressed, but I do understand their value in the film. Now, I know I sound negative in my review, but I promise I did enjoy the film. I unfortunately expected more from this movie. All put together, I gave this movie a 7.4 out of 10. Disclaimer, my score may be skewed a little bit because I'm giving the acting some bonus points, so if you're a fan of the main actors, then I'd recommend watching this movie just to round out your film repertoire. Otherwise, despite being a good film, I think there are better movies to watch. Thank you for listening to my review of Amsterdam. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to leave a like and hit subscribe. If you did not enjoy the content, thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate it. If you agree or disagree with me, please let me know in the comments. I would love to read what you have to say. Also, if you want to see something reviewed, don't forget to let me know by leaving a comment. I will get to your request slowly but surely. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Good Friends. All of that said, my name is Diego, and I will see you next time.